Nuka-World is a dead circuit. There is no energy, no grid, and no life remaining in this sector. So explain. The massive thermal spike recorded the exact second we crossed the perimeter of the Grandchester estate. All senses indicate this structure should be ambiently cold, yet the reality within these walls defies every law of thermodynamics. The loop and distortion of the automated tour guide plays on, attempting to force a fake, cheerful history of the Grandchester family upon us. But this mechanical optimism only highlights the heavy, ominous silence of the rooms. The dust here does not simply settle. It hangs in the air, suspended as if frozen in a specific moment of time. The most disturbing anomaly is captured by our optics. A small figure stands in the upper story window. It does not move like a person. It flickers like a visual error in reality itself. The biometric data insists the house is empty, but the optics show a small girl looking directly at us. This is not weather. The temperature drops 10 degrees every time she appears. It is an active energy drain. Whatever is in this house is consuming the ambient heat to maintain its visibility. We are officially entering a zone of thermal violation. The deeper the team advances into the Grandchester estate, the more apparent the violation of fundamental physics becomes. We are recording a non-Euclidean spatial drift. The internal corridors are physically longer than the exterior dimensions of the structure should allow. The hallways seem endless, and the distance to the next junction increases as we attempt to close it. The wallpaper here peels away to reveal not just decaying wood, but a strange organic pulsation. The air is saturated with a sharp scent of ozone, typical of high voltage energy discharge. Our tactical lights begin to flicker in a specific rhythm, as if the space itself is absorbing the photons. We do not see the primary subject directly, but we are identifying her traces. We observe handprints on the walls that are thermally active, yet physically invisible under standard lighting. We designate this as phantom, thermal echoing. The soundscape is complemented by an anomaly we classify as a residual audio loop. We clearly record the sound of a piano playing from a room that, according to our senses, contains no musical instruments. We are attempting to reach the stairwell, but the facility is constantly looping our progress. Every time we pivot toward an exit, we find ourselves in the same corridor with the peeling wallpaper. This is not a navigational error. It is a sensory override designed to keep operational units within the active zone. The exact second the team crossed the threshold, the entrance sector triggered a mechanical seal.
Well, hello.
The door did not close due to weather or folklore. It was a systemic response of the facility to our presence. We are now officially locked within the perimeter. The automated voice of the tour guide continues its loop, cheerfully describing the dinner habits of the Grandchester family. This mechanical optimism is profoundly dissonant while we navigate the darkness and structural decay of these hallways. We recorded a visual flicker at the far end of the main corridor. A small figure stands motionless. We designate this as static interference. Every time our optical senses attempt to focus directly on her, the interface glitches. She does not retreat. She simply ceases to exist in the observable spectrum the moment we close the distance. Our current objective is to locate the source of the thermal drain mentioned in Block 1. We are moving toward the stairwell. Yet the floorboards emit rhythmic patterns of acoustic feedback. These sounds mimic the cadence of footsteps following directly behind us, yet thermal scanners show absolute vacuity. The Grandchester estate is not a static monument. It is an active environment designed to destabilize our operational autonomy. The ascent to the second floor is accompanied by a critical drop in temperature. Our sensors record an intensified energy drain radiating directly from the walls of the private quarters. We enter what was once a child's bedroom. Toys are scattered across the floor, yet several exhibit signs of kinetic displacement of inert objects. These items vibrate and move without external physical force. This is not folklore. It is a localized gravity and energy glitch caused by an abnormal density of power within this coordinate. The team recovers records that we classify as evidence of extreme cognitive deviation in the primary resident. These logs do not describe a domestic tragedy in traditional terms. Instead, they document a massive systemic failure of the family unit. The primary subject began to exhibit behavioral patterns that were impossible to correct using standard medical or disciplinary protocols. At this moment, the figure of the small girl reappears. Now, she is no longer simply standing in the corner. She is staring directly at the audit team. We are observing a phase of visual corruption. The image is beginning to warp, and our senses are entering a state of critical failure. She is not merely present. She is the epicenter of a kinetic surge that is currently attempting to destabilize our physical integrity. We are one step away from a total systemic collapse in this sector. During our attempted advance toward the attic sector, the audit team encountered a drastic shift in atmospheric composition. The upper hallways are now filled with a dense, low-hanging mist that we officially classify as suspended particulate matter with high neuroreactivity. This is not smoke from a thermal event. It is a high-potency hallucinogen excreted by the structure itself. The acoustic environment is undergoing a critical malfunction. The voice of the automated tour guide, previously merely persistent, is now melting into a distorted, high-frequency cacophony. Our scanners indicate the volume remains constant, yet we are recording a frequency degradation that impacts the auditory nerves directly. The air has acquired a bizarre scent, a mixture of dried roses and copper, indicating a critical level of organic oxidation within this specific sector. Visual contact with the primary subject has become unstable. The girl is no longer a singular entity. We are recording a temporal shadowing effect. Multiple bioelectric shadows are appearing simultaneously in the hallway, suggesting the object is in a state of multi-location. The floor beneath our boots is beginning to feel soft, losing structural density, while constant static noise saturates our audio input. The audit team is experiencing a systemic desynchronization. This is not a psychological response. It is a physiological reaction to neural overload. The Grandchester estate is no longer attempting to induce fear. It is actively initiating a neural override. The environment is attempting to force our consciousness out of the sector by dismantling the brain's ability to process incoming data. We are currently inside an active environmental hazard zone. We reached the final attic space, the terminal point of our audit. Within this sector, we identify a secondary hostile variable, an armed resident whose cognitive functions have been completely eroded by prolonged exposure to this environment. He is not our objective. He is merely a byproduct of the facility, a failure to withstand the data integration process. In the center of the room, we record the primary subject one last time. She is no longer flickering. She exists now as pure energy, triggering a total failure of our optical arrays. This is the final visual glitch, a signal that the mansion has initiated a forced data removal protocol against our team. We are commencing immediate extraction. The Grandchester Mystery is not a story for tourists. It is a documented case of an environmental memory that refuses to be deleted from the grid. We officially classify the mansion as a permanent cognitive hazard zone. We recommend that all future operatives avoid this sector unless they want their own biological data to be integrated into these walls. Our data is synchronized. Next report, the Pink Pasteurization Project at Suffolk County Charter School. Do not consume the supplemental rations until you have seen our audit.